What's up, friends? Welcome back to my channel. I hope you all are doing well. This video is going to be my review of the new Glossier Stretch Fluid Foundation. I've been testing this out for a couple of days, and I definitely have some thoughts. We're going to be doing a daylight application. I'm going to be showing you the coverage, the texture, how I like to apply this, and then we're going to be doing a full day wear test. So if you want to hear all of my thoughts, then keep watching. If you like this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, and if you are new here, consider subscribing to my channel. My name is Sophia, and I am a complete beauty addict. I do a lot of luxury and clean beauty reviews, a lot of Sephora brands, and I upload videos every single week. So if you want to join our fam, hit that subscribe button because we would love to have you. And lastly, guys, just a quick reminder, I will be linking where you can purchase this product in the description box down below. It is now available at the Glossier website and at Sephora. I'm also going to be linking any of the other products that I put on my face. Everything's going to be linked down below, and I do use affiliate links, so shopping through my links does support my channel. So thank you very much for all of your support. Let's get into it, friends. So this is the Glossier Stretch Fluid Foundation. It is about time. I've been waiting for Glossier to come out with a proper foundation. They do have their skin tint, but that's a little light for me. I like to wear a proper kind of light to medium coverage foundation, and that is exactly what this is. On the Sephora website, it is described as a hydrating gel cream foundation that nourishes skin for buildable light to medium coverage, and it is supposed to have a natural finish. It comes in 32 shades and it retails for $34. I'll show you guys a close-up of the packaging here. Very nice, very weighty glass bottle, I must say. It feels very luxurious. Maybe not the most travel friendly, but very nice packaging. And then when you open it up, it does come with a pump. If you want to get every little last bit of it out of there as well, you can very easily screw off the top here and access the product. Glossier also says that this product is supposed to be crease resistant, sweat resistant, transfer resistant, cruelty free, and vegan. I will talk a little bit more about the ingredients when we get into the demo in just a second and how that kind of affects the texture. But just some basics here, friends. I want to let you know this doesn't have any essential oils. It also doesn't have any synthetic fragrances. I don't detect any weird or strong smells. So if you're sensitive to smells, I do think you're going to be okay with this product. Now that we have those basic details out of the way, let's get to the fun part. We're going to be doing a daylight application. Then I will be doing a wear test. And then at the very end, I will share my final thoughts, guys, and let you know if I think this baby is worth it. Okay, party people, let's get this foundation on my face. I'm going to show you how I like to apply this and also talk a little bit more about the texture and the coverage. For the record, I am filming in natural light, so hopefully you guys can get a really good representation of what this looks like on my skin. I do have dry skin, so I'm looking for this to stay hydrated throughout the day. And with a medium coverage foundation, usually I'm looking to cover up most or all of the hyperpigmentation that I have on my cheeks. So this is a pump bottle. I just pumped one pump onto my hand. I find that maybe like a pump and a half is usually enough for my full face. And let me just show you guys what the texture looks like. It's not a very runny foundation. See how it has a bit of a sheen there? It's kind of like a creamy, I'd say like cream to gel-like consistency, but because it's not super runny, it doesn't feel maybe as serum-y as a lot of other foundations that you get from like clean beauty brands, for example. I like to apply this with a brush. I will link the one that I'm using down below. I didn't get the Glossier brush that came with this foundation because it just looked very big. I like something that's pretty precise, but you can buy the brush that kind of goes along with this foundation separately. So I'm just gonna tap my brush on and show you guys what this looks like. When I took a look at the ingredients, because they are kind of touting that this is very skincare-y, when I took a look at the ingredients, they didn't really look too crazy, which honestly I prefer. The ones at the top that stood out to me are glycerin and squalane, so that's going to be very moisturizing. And I think the squalane is what kind of gives it this little bit of a sheen, kind of like a gel-like texture. Other than that, guys, I'm looking at the ingredients and it says Rosa canina fruit extract, there's plankton extract, and it says on the Glossier website that those two ingredients are supposed to help balance shine while maintaining hydration so that this foundation can be for all skin type. I don't know, I don't think there's any crazy skincare in this foundation, guys, but I do think there are some really good ingredients. There's no fragrance, there's no like essential oils or anything like that that's really gonna irritate your skin. So I definitely appreciate that, and I like the fact that the texture, it's not super greasy. It's kind of like a nice happy medium where my skin looks moisturized, but not in like a super shiny way. It's kind of just more of like that natural finish. So let me get this all over half of my face so that you guys can see a little side by side. So here's the side by side. I think it has pretty good coverage. I would call this a medium coverage foundation because I feel like it covers most of my imperfections, but it doesn't feel super heavy. It's also very easy to apply. Once again, if they have more squalane, if there's more like serum-y like ingredients, I find that these types of foundations, they tend to get a little bit streaky. But here it is without, and then here it is with. All right, so here's the foundation in natural light all over my face. I'm gonna get real close so that you guys can see. It covered up pretty much everything. I do have a little redness right here for some reason, which is poking through, but I think that's gonna die down throughout the day. I did just apply all of my skincare and sunscreen, so my face was a little bit flushed in some places. It's a natural finish. It looks hydrating. It will set down a little bit after a few minutes. And if you go in and you layer on powder products, they don't get kind of stuck to the foundation. The foundation doesn't move. So if you go in with like a powder bronzer or maybe a setting powder afterwards, I feel like they layer on top pretty well. If you're concerned about the shine, you can add a little bit of powder wherever you need it. And I feel like this foundation, it performs pretty well in that regard. I'm gonna apply the rest of my makeup and then just show you guys what it looks like, and then we will do the full day wear test. All right, friends, this is what the foundation is looking like with my full makeup done. I did layer on some powder bronzer and some powder blush as well. And I'll just show you, it has a really nice, beautiful, natural finish with a little bit of radiance. Like I said, doesn't look greasy, doesn't look oily or anything. You certainly could powder it some more, but I don't really feel like I need to. So I think it's looking really nice so far. I'm gonna check in with you guys in a couple of hours, and then finally we'll do another check-in at the end of the workday so that you guys can see how this foundation wears, and then I'll sum up everything in my final thoughts. What's up, friends? It is now for our midday check-in. I'm right here in front of my window so that you guys can see how this foundation is looking like in natural light. And I think that it looks really good. I've been wearing this for a couple of hours now. I really don't see any issues with it. You know, maybe I don't know. I don't really see it like even settling into my smile lines at all. It does look rather crease resistant. It hasn't transferred anywhere. Obviously, you know, you can see a little bit of hyperpigmentation here still, but it's a medium coverage foundation. It's not super full coverage. I kind of like the fact that you can see my skin a little bit. It doesn't highlight any pores or anything like that. You know, it does kind of threaten to get a little bit dry here around my smile lines, because that's kind of where my face is, it's the main place my face is moving throughout the day. So that's usually what I look at, but I still think that it looks pretty good. And then on my nose here, you can see maybe just a teeny bit dry. That's kind of my other problem area. A lot of foundations don't really stick to my nose very well, but I think that this one is definitely hanging in there. One thing that I want to kind of point out is that I do think this foundation, while it keeps your skin hydrated, it kind of has like a self-setting feature or texture to it. There are some ingredients that kind of help to prevent excess sebum production, and so I'm not getting any kind of shininess. If anything, it kind of looks like a perfected powder type of effect, and I really like that little bit of glow and blurring that I'm getting from it. So anyway, what I'm trying to say here is that I think after a couple of hours it still looks really good, but I am going to check in with you guys at the end of the day before the sun goes down so we can do another daylight check-in and you can see the full day wear test. Hey friends, it's the final check-in. This is the end of the day. The sun is going down. So I want to show you how this foundation looks like. I've had it on my face for about 10 hours. I could leave it on for another 2 to do a full 12-hour test, but it's not going to look that much different. I thought we would go here into the direct sunlight so you could really see any kind of texture that may have formed. And I think it looks very nice. It's still on my face. You can see this is the point in the day where like it starts to get a little dry around here, but nothing too crazy, you know? I think it still looks beautiful, still in place, long lasting. Here on my nose, you can see it did finally start to kind of break apart and get a little bit dry. That happens with a lot of my foundations, and I kind of have to touch up on my nose, but I'm showing it to you. I'm calling it out. And then look here on my forehead, on my cheeks, everything looks very radiant and perfect. So I thought I would do that just so you could see any little bit of texture that might exist. But in general, I still think it looks very beautiful. I'm gonna sum up everything in my final thoughts now, guys, let you know who I think this is for, and just a couple of comparisons as well to some other foundations. All right, friends, I hope all of this has been helpful so far. Now it is time for my final thoughts. What do I think of the Glossier Stretch Foundation? Who do I think it is for? Because I have been testing this over the course of a couple very long work days, and I feel like I have a pretty good idea of what I think of this. And that is, I like it. I like this foundation. I think it's a really beautiful, everyday type of foundation. I was surprised by it, however, not because I was expecting for it to be bad, but mostly because it is called the Stretch Foundation. And when I hear Glossier Stretch Foundation, I think of the Glossier Stretch Concealer, which I just pulled out of my makeup bag right now. This is a very popular product, but it is nothing like the Stretch Foundation. I think what they're trying to do is what every other brand does, which is to take a very popular product name and try and get some popularity with the new product, get some SEO value and brand recognition, because this concealer, it's very dewy and emollient. Some people really like it, some people really hate it. It's definitely not for everybody. I like to use this for kind of fine tuning around my eyebrows and like my eye looks, for touch-ups, that kind of a thing, because it does have that kind of like stretch capability to really smooth things out, get things into place. But this is not my everyday type of concealer that I would put under my eyes. It's just a little bit too greasy for my liking, but a lot of people like this, and some people even put it all over their face like a foundation. If you were hoping that that is what this is, it's not. This is a really nice standard kind of Goldilocks foundation where it's not too dewy, it's not too matte, it kind of has a little bit of self-setting to it throughout the day. It stays hydrated, but it's not gonna give you massive hydration like maybe a dewier foundation would. It's a really nice compliment to their line because obviously they already have the skin tint, but that really doesn't give that much coverage. So if you wanted something that was more just solid, medium coverage, good standard for the Glossier line, then I think you are going to like this. I wouldn't say that it's necessarily buildable. I think that you can sheer it out, especially if you were to go in with a damp sponge. But at least the way that I like to apply it with a brush, which usually I think is the best way to get buildable coverage. I don't really feel like it's the kind of thing where, oh, you put on a little bit and then you put on a second layer and then you put on a third layer. Every single time I apply this, I kind of just go in and I get the same type of coverage every time. But just know, I do think you can sheer it out if that is your goal. I don't think you're gonna get much more coverage than I got, however. Now, what skin types is this going to be best for? Because it does say on the Glossier website that it is for all skin types, but every new foundation that comes out now, guys, says that it is for all skin types. That being said, I do think this is gonna work for a lot of people out there because like I've said a couple times in this review, it's not super duper glowy, but it's also not the most matte foundation in the world. If you have oily skin, you know, you might want to powder just a little bit like you might already do in the T-zone or on the forehead, wherever your natural oils come through, just to increase the longevity a little bit. But when I look at the ingredients, I do see ingredients that are good for controlling the sebum production. And I kind of noticed that as well, that I don't really see a ton of natural oils coming throughout the day on my skin. I have dry skin, so I do have to prep my skin just a little bit for this, even though it does have a lot of moisturizing ingredients. It's a little bit more of kind of like a setted foundation on my face. I would agree it is crease resistant. I would agree it is relatively transfer resistant, or at least as transfer resistant as a medium foundation can be. It's not going to be like the Danessa Myrix kind that comes in the little tube. Like that stuff is waterproof. I don't think you're necessarily going to get that for this. This is a little bit more everyday. I do think it's probably a more affordable option if you're looking for something that has a finish that is similar to like the Clé de Peau Radiant Cream Foundation or the Suqqu Foundation, for example. You know, this is $34. You can also get it at Sephora. Maybe that is more accessible to you. So in that case, I would definitely give this a try. But if you have more mature skin, I am going to be honest with you, friends, I do think that my Chantecaille foundations, my Clé de Peau foundations, my Suqqu foundation, a lot of these holy grail kind of like dry and mature skin foundations, I do think that they're a little bit better than this. I don't think that this is like a crazy dupe for that. I tend to get more moisture and nourishment from a lot of those. I will link my favorites down below so you know which ones I'm talking about, because this isn't going to be like a full-on comparison. But a lot of people have asked me, you know, how does this compare up against the Chantecaille Future Skin Foundation? Because it is described as like a gel cream texture. This is a little bit thicker and more full coverage. The Chantecaille, it has more of this kind of blurry, translucent, very dewy type of finish to it. And this one is definitely not as dewy. It doesn't really give me that glass skin effect. It gives me that really nice, soft touch, perfected type of effect that I get from the Clé de Peau Radiant Cream Foundation. So to answer your question, I don't really think it's that close to the Chantecaille Future Skin. I think they're both good foundations. If I had to pick just one, I would pick the Chantecaille because I have dry skin and I just really like the way that that foundation kind of blurs any type of dryness or texture on my skin. If you have mature skin, I would go with the Chantecaille. But hey, this is a really good foundation, guys. I don't want to like poo-poo it. I think it's really great. For $34, you get 1 ounce, you got 32 shades. Well done, Glossier. I'm really sorry if you thought it was going to be like the Stretch Concealer. It really isn't. I honestly like wouldn't even pair the two of them together because the finishes are so different. I feel like it would look kind of strange, but hey guys, I'm open to your feedback and to your thoughts. I'm gonna stop talking because I wanna hear about what you think of this foundation. Sound off in the comments down below and leave me all of your thoughts. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up if you liked it and if you found it helpful. And if you have not subscribed to my channel, what are you waiting for? Join us because we have fun and real makeup talk like this every single week and we would love to have you. And with that, friends, I hope that you see some beauty in your day and I will see you in my next one. Goodbye.